welcome back to Guitar Wishes and your Guitar Wish of the day. We are here with the extremely talented Ricky Vodka. He came in the store to do an interview with us. What's up, man?
Woo!
That's right. You hear that crowd?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Hayden will put in a big, huge crowd noise.
I'm so excited to be here. I've been waiting for months, and it's a long waiting list. And you guys put me on after some of the greats, and I'm excited.
Yeah, so you're actually a friend of the store, and
Yes.
you've been here quite a few times.
I've been a patron of Guitar Wishes.
But you have an incredible story, an incredible career going back. And take me back. You've got some really cool stories from you were a roadie for a long time.
Yeah. Put me on the spot.
That's right.
I've gone blank. Let's see. If I can go back, probably people that I've roadied for was some of the Latino percussion people in New York. Ray Barretto. A lot of people may have heard of him. There was a gentleman that was a friend of John Lennon's, and that's how I kind of got involved. His name was David Peel, and he actually had a record label called Orange Records.
Orange Records.
Like Apple Records.
Right.
And he signed me and my friend Paul to like a 45 deal. I think we sold 6 copies.
There you go.
And I'm trying to think after that. I spent a lot of time working for music stores in Manhattan and driving pianos and instruments from the Village Gate and downtown and all the way up to the Apollo Theater.
Right.
So I got the set up for Ginger Baker twice, a place called Wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I recall, thank you. All right, it's called coming back. The medication's working. So I got to meet Ginger Baker, which was very interesting because he stood there and read his poetry for half an hour, which was terrible. But sorry, Ginger. God rest him. We did that.
He's great there.
Oh, he's
pure legend.
one of the world's greatest drummers.
Absolutely.
Ginger Baker. And he would have told you that himself. That's all I can think of at the moment. Oh, and a missed opportunity, which we were talking about earlier, the abbreviated version. I was with a sound company, and Paul McCartney was in town. This is 1984, maybe 83. So I was 2 years old, and we had a chance to.
2 years.
We were going to do sound for his Buddy Holly story. They were doing a celebration at the Lone Star Roadhouse.
And for people who don't know, Buddy's rights went to Paul.
Paul McCartney owns
Yeah.
Buddy Holly's music.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Because
somebody smart
it
is
alive.
who can do something
He
with
kept it alive. Yeah. So that's a brief synopsis of my roadieism. But I also was a folk singer in Greenwich Village, singing folk songs down on Bleecker Street. And I had the pleasure of meeting people like Jonathan Edwards.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Who did Sunshine Go Away Today. And Dave Van Ronk. Suzanne Vega, I met twice and actually got to do a show with her at Folk City long, long time ago. And while performing and playing, somebody approached me and said, hey, when I was younger, you kind of look like Paul and you're left-handed and you can, do that whole thing.
Right.
And there's a band called Strawberry Fields. And they have members of Beatlemania, the Broadway show, in there.
Right.
And they're auditioning. You have to go. And I said, oh, I'm nervous. I don't know, why would they want me? But I went, and within 2 weeks, I went from making peanuts, singing in the village and just performing my own stuff, to touring with this band, Strawberry Fields. And we were over in the islands, and that led to Beatlemania
and for people that don't know,
things.
Beatlemania is one of the biggest
Beatles franchise tribute things in the world.
And they get the thumbs up from Paul.
And from Ringo now.
Yeah, and so that it's for someone who plays like Paul and enjoys that. That is the Mecca.
It is. It's the pinnacle.
And so
for anybody who loves the Beatles and gets the opportunity to impersonate and emulate and talk with a British accent, thank you very much. It's great to be here. All right.
Well, tell me, as a kid,
yes,
were you a Beatles fan?
I was.
What brought you into playing guitar?
Interesting. I have several brothers. I keep looking at the camera out of the corner of my eye. I'm sorry. Hi. I know you're there. So my brothers were into sports, and I tried sports. I was the kid that nobody wanted to pick, you know?
I know the
kind of a bookworm, glasses, you know. All right, Rick. So, but I loved music.
Yeah.
And my mom and my stepdad had all these albums. So I gleaned two sources of music. From my mom, doo-wop, 50s, you know, growing up in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Dion and the Belmonts. Why must I be a teenager in love?
Oh, yeah, great stuff.
And from my stepdad, he had Today I passed you on the street and my heart fell at your feet. So I got country and I got doo-wop.
Right.
And for some reason, that led to Beatles as well. And later on, I found out that the Beatles got a lot of their inspiration from country and doo-wop as well.
Sure.
So I was
Yeah, their influences.
Right, we're very similar.
Scattered throughout Beatles stuff. Sure.
And I also found, I was about 9 years old and I went to a guy's house and he had an acoustic guitar sitting in the corner of his room and he had all these holes in it. And he used to shoot it with his BB gun. And I kid you not, this guitar looked at me and said, "Help me, help me." And I said, "Hey, you play that?" He goes, "Nah, my parents bought it for me, I hate it." I said, "Can I buy it?" He says, "Yeah, $2. So I ran home and begged my mom for $2. And I ran back and I bought this beat up acoustic. It was probably a Fender. This is 1970, 71. And I played that thing till it broke. I think it got broken in a high school fight. Some kids were. But I played this thing forever. But I knew that when I looked at someone playing an instrument, I could tell what they were doing. I could go and sit there with my fingers, even though I'm left-handed and they were right-handed.
Right.
And then I would go to the music store. We were poor growing up. You know, I'm not ashamed of poverty. We grew up like in dirt poor in the projects of Brooklyn, above a candy store. But I can go to a music store and open the music books and I could memorize, like maybe the first 3 lines of a song, and see those little chord charts. G, E minor, C, D. I had a girl, Donna was her name.
Right.
And then, you know, oh, I should have known better with a girl like you. And I was like,
Right.
so that's how I came up loving the Beatles. By learning to emulate and play. And I would stand in front of the mirror for hours. As I said, I was very shy. I always had glasses. And you got picked on when you had glasses when you were a kid. They call you Poindexter, you know, nerd.
Yeah.
But inside there was a raging, healthy, strong man who could protect himself. But on the outside was a nerd.
You brought up something that I wanted to ask you. It's something I've always wondered. Now,
It's true.
I remember you just sang a little bit of Richie Valens.
Yes.
And Donna.
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask, now in that movie,
Edit out the bold spot.
in that movie, La Bamba, Richie
Yes.
Valens is seen taking his guitar into school and walking around school
Yes.
all day with his guitar.
Yes.
And I always wondered, is that something that people really did?
Yes. I don't know
That's
if they do it
unbelievable.
now. I don't know if they do it
I've
now,
never seen
but
anybody
we
do
did
it.
it. Yeah, and actually you can ask my wife, who I went to school with, and we eventually grew up and got married. I used to cut class, which I don't want kids doing. And we'd sit outside the high school with my guitar in a circle and just sing.
Wow.
Not like a kumbaya kind of thing, because that's kind of geeky. But we would sing like The Who and all the current songs of the day. And yeah, and guys would show up with their guitar, and next thing you know, we'd be having a jam in the street of Brooklyn. 3 or 4 guitar players.
That's awesome. Man.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
There was no fighting. There was no separation. Everybody loved each other and hung out. I don't want to get too serious, but we need that again. We need to love each other and play music together and connect.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot
That's
of
my message.
There's a lot of call for ending arts
Yes.
in schools. Well, I think that's
Madness.
I think it's a tragedy.
I think that's madness.
I agree.
They should never do that.
Yeah.
Young people, all people need a form of creative expression and a way to communicate. And music is a universal language.
Absolutely.
It crosses all barriers.
Yeah.
And everybody can relate. They don't even have to know you. You don't even have to speak. As soon as you play the instrument and sing, it resonates and it draws people together.
It really does.
And I think we need to do that.
I agree. And
Thanks.
we're talking about your transition into Strawberry Fields.
Yes.
Now, so
we were, weren't we?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this.
I don't know how we got there.
Let me ask you this. So you win the spot in Strawberry
I
Fields.
did.
And so
Three auditions,
At
three
that
callbacks.
point, what are you guys trying to emulate the look or the
Everything.
sound?
Everything.
Now, what was the hardest thing to get? The hair? What
No, thank God I had hair. And I'll even give you guys some photos to drop in
Cool.
this video as we shoot the one now. So the hair was easy, the face was easy because I was young and I had that Paul look. The hardest thing for me was the bass playing. Even though I was a bass player, left-handed guitarist, Paul McCartney, people, in case you don't know, is probably one of the world's greatest bass players.
One of the most underrated. Absolutely.
Phenomenal. I mean, listen from 62 to 70, even afterwards, yeah, but the Beatles stuff, ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some good teachers. I had people that I would play it dead on and they'd go, you're not getting it. So I'm thinking of that on stage and the accent and the mannerisms. So, I'm doing stuff like taking my glasses off. I can't see. Hello. She was just 17, and you know what I mean. You had to be, the heads up, ooh, doing that and playing. And if it's one note off, there were people there to go, nah, man, that's not it. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, but it's such a combination of notes
Yeah.
and feel
And soul and
soul.
connecting.
Yep.
So it was a gift because once I got it, wow, I could apply it to anything I did and convey and connect with the audience. And and also the accent, but we'd watch and you do all the Beatles little things. Thank you very much. Great to be here. All right, hello. Thank you. Can you hear me? You do all that stuff.
Sure.
And people
Now, how much actual studying of live video of Beatles' actual performances did you have to take in?
I have everything. Over the years, I've given them away as gifts, but at one point, I had everything.
But was it
every
when
video?
you were preparing for these guys or preparing for Beatlemania? How much was it class? I mean, you actually had to go in.
Oh yeah, we used to call it Beatle University.
Beatle University.
Yeah, and then they came out with the complete Beatles scores, which you can get here at Guitar Wishes. It's a huge white book of everything. These Japanese music scholars went and deciphered every note and wrote it in sheet music and tablature. So that became like, forgive me, Lord, the Beatle Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And guys would sing, oh, no, it says here, page 144, over the key of C, you're playing an E, not an F. And we'd have these Beatle wars. It was really cool. And they were right, because it allowed us to really fine-tune their music. And the guys...
I wonder if Paul ever sits back and says, man, I can't believe people are going this crazy.
Oh, I'm sure he does. He does say it's almost like there's another Paul McCartney that's in the music world, and then there's the private Paul McCartney that sits back and goes, I cannot believe the life that I've been given.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope one day when he passes on to and goes to heaven and meets the Lord that he just says,
Yeah, I'm sure.
thank
He
you.
probably thinks it every day.
He better. Paul, if you're listening, you better thank the Lord.
So, how long were you in Strawberry Fields?
That was about 93. So I think 4 years with them. Mm-hmm. And then I met some guys within that band that were with the Broadway Beatlemania, now touring Beatlemania. And I started going on tour with them, did California, Canada, Mexico. And then wound up in a group based out of Pennsylvania, another plug. Mm-hmm. Hello, Scott. Beatlemania Now. No. And it was a love-hate relationship. I miss them dearly. We got along well, but when we didn't get along, we fought like redheaded stepchildren, the four of us.
Well, that's families.
Yeah.
And you were part of those guys for how long?
I started with, 93, I think I probably did my last show with a Beatle group in 2016.
Really?
And that was a band out of California. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Drew. Called, hi, Nick, Terry, Tommy. I don't want to forget anybody. It was called The Reunion. Mm-hmm. Great guys, but that was more of if John and George had not passed away and they were all like in their 50s and they got together for a reunion, what would that be like? So I did a couple of shows with them and it was a lot of fun. But I had just gotten over pneumonia at that time. So the writing was on the wall for me.
Was it?
To kind of just, because I had a Ricky Vaca career. I mean, I've written my own songs. I released 3 albums. But then I got saved. The Lord came into my life, and I realized I wanted more out of life.
Right.
Met my wife again. I sold and packed everything up, got married, and it's been quite a journey.
Oh yeah, and
in the midst of that, you know, I put everything down and just became a dad and a husband.
Yeah.
And
Well, nothing is as rewarding as a husband father.
Correct. And nothing will teach you how self-centered and stupid you are until you become a husband and a father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to
Like
you.
Gumby, they'll stretch you, man.
And you mentioned your 3 solo albums.
Yes.
And
None of them are available at this point, but
well, tell me about writing. Tell me when you write, all the experience you had
yes.
as quote unquote Paul.
Yeah. Does it go into the writing?
Does it go into the writing?
It did,
Or is
and
it
I-
something completely separate?
No, it didn't, and I had to filter it out. Because when I was trying to market myself, they're like, it's a great song, but you sound like Paul. Well, that sounds like a Beatles song. And I'm like, well, isn't that the point? And they said, not for us. Sorry. So I had to actually find my own voice.
Yeah.
Because I would sing, ooh, I love you because I do.
Right.
Dear, please. And they're like, well, you sound like Paul. And I was like, how do I find Ricky's voice? So it took a while. It was a concerted effort.
Was it?
And I just kept writing, and then, until I found, hopefully, what was my voice. I didn't like it very much, but it was mine.
Yeah. It's hard to separate the two.
It is. But, with a little bit of therapy and a little bit of Prozac and Zoloft once a week, you'll get there.
Oh man. Well, and you were talking about becoming a pastor,
Yeah.
and you probably lead worship at your church as well.
I was a worship pastor for quite some time. I stepped down last year because I feel another change coming in my life. I don't want to get too deep, but the world is changing, and I loved being in a building and worshiping, but I really feel like my calling is outside the building, down the street, sitting here with you guys on Facebook. I always separated Ricky Vaca and the music and the Beatle thing from Ricky Vaca, the person who loves Jesus and wants to live his life for him.
Right.
And I realize now that God gave me all these gifts. If I can integrate them just by meeting people, even if I'm singing, a secular song, doesn't matter. If I can touch people's lives and be outside as opposed to in a building, that's where I want to be. So I let the pastorship go and everything. I still, of course, go to church and pray and read the Bible and love the Lord. But I just kind of feel like I'm coming to an age and a time in my life where all of me is coming together.
Right.
And wherever I go, like I said, sitting here with you, or just going next door to the store and saying hi and talking to people, that's tangible ministry. That's real.
Right.
And it's like, okay, he's not on a pulpit preaching to me. He's just shopping in a store, but he's touching my life.
Right.
Maybe, hopefully, planting a seed. Or just being a nice person and saying, hi, I love you. I know it's kind of strange what's going on in the world, but I'm cool. Are you cool? Cool. Can we be friends?
Yeah.
Great. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself writing and recording anymore?
I do, and that's why I'm glad that you guys invited me here today, because right before the COVID Corona thing started, I started performing again. My wife and I prayed about it, and I talked with everybody, and I've got support. So I did a couple of shows. Some of them are on my Facebook page, and you can see it. And I'm hoping that by being here today and later on going and jamming with some people, that I could begin to perform again and meet people. Because you really can't meet people if they don't come to the building, so to speak.
Yeah.
So if I'm out there performing and people are in the audience, music creates like a comfort zone between people.
It does.
And they come over to me and go, hi. I'm like, have a seat.
Right.
Something to drink, kind Can I sing a song for you? Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
That's great. That's great.
So I'm hoping, and thank you to Guitar Wishes for
Oh man, we
giving
can't,
me an opportunity to do that.
we can't thank you enough for coming. And something I wanted to, and we spoke about this off camera, but all the stuff you've done, especially in the Beatle world.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a song that when you went up every night, you're like, oh, I got to play this song again?
Yes.
Now,
Sure.
do you mind naming it?
No, I can't tell you because they're watching. I could get sued.
Okay, let's flip it around.
I had to sign a gag order.
Let's flip it around. You're on stage and a song comes up. Man, it's my favorite song of the night. Let's go.
Every night there's something different. My voice is so dry. I really wanted to sing for you guys today, but I'm all froggy. I mean, Yesterday is always a great song.
Yesterday, yeah.
I love that, but you got to tune down.
Was there a song that you saw the crowd react to more than the other?
It wasn't even a Paul song. I loved John's songs. Like Paul always says, John Lennon. I mean, he's in a band with John. Couldn't wait for another John Lennon song, So there was a, if you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again. Great song.
Great song.
So every night when we didn't do it often, but when we did that song, I was like, to play bass in that song.
That's cool.
And from a bassist perspective, it's different. I mean, I'm sitting here with a guitar, but to be on stage and to play Paul's bass lines and sing them, some of them were just exquisite. And I don't have a bass in front of me to show you, but there's a song called Anya Bird Can Sing. Tell me that you got everything you want, and your bird can sing. The bass in that is just, you have to listen to it, folks. Great bass line.
You know what's cool is we actually have that bass here.
Oh, my Beatle McCartney bass here.
That's right, we've got that and
My costumes.
your blue costume.
My pepper suit and my Sullivan suit.
We'll throw in pictures of all that.
And my wigs, because there are times you just didn't want to have that kind of hairstyle all the time. Well, because when things were slow, I work as an electrician.
Yeah.
And, you're on a construction site looking like that. It's not a good thing. So I'd wear my hair like this. I'd slick it all back and then put a Beatle wig on. Or, excuse me, picking my ear. You'd be working, now Beatle suits are Irish wool and linen, black. Now you're on stage in a casino or a theater, air conditioning. But you'd also be on stage in like Florida, outdoors, and it's 111 degrees out.
Yeah.
And you're walking on stage in these black suits. There's no AC on that stage.
Yeah.
And you know what happens to your hair? Ooh, look at Hayden. Ooh. You get that beautiful curly afro, which I used to get, and they'd look at you like, what's wrong with your hair? So you put a wig on, woo, and comb it down. So
I wanted to ask
that's the secret, folks.
I wanted to ask you about after doing
Oh
shows.
my God, I can't believe I said that on camera.
So, all the stuff you did you ever feel like that you were in the same headspace as Paul McCartney probably would have been at that point in time?
Yes. Great story. You ready for a great story?
I'm ready, yeah.
This is a killer story. Another shout out to a great human being. But first, a word from our sponsor. Tetley Tea. Honey and lemon. It's the lights that dry me out. 1999. There's a man in upstate New York, a very dear friend named Tony Capizzi. Tony used to broker Beatle guitars, and he got me one of my first Hofner basses. So we were playing a venue up north called the Scottish Rites Cathedral. Great place, Scottish Rites, Gonna pick a fight? No, just kidding. You're a madman. And so it was a pristine church that became a theater with a balcony. It was gorgeous. And Tony shows up to the dressing room downstairs. Ricky! Yeah, he's got this beat up case with him. I'm like, what's in the case? He goes, he opens the guitar case. It's a 1963 left-handed Hofner from Germany with the paperwork. He just bought it. I won't tell you what he paid for it, but the paperwork said that it was manufactured on the same line as Paul's bass within a number of weeks. Wow. So
Unreal.
it would have been a bass Paul would have played and had. Somebody bought it, a Beatle fan, I guess in England, and never played it. And so it was in pristine condition. So I'm sitting there, and the guys are all looking at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm having like, it's like, you know, I'm possessed, man, never be. But it's like, it's playing itself.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you, Tony. He says, no. He goes, I need you to play that tonight. I said, I could play this for the show? He said, yeah. So it was one of those pivotal moments because I'm on stage with this bass, same year as Paul's bass, a couple of weeks, playing Beatles music that I literally stopped in the middle of the show. I put a spotlight on him and I told him about the bass. And what do you think happens right in the middle of the show? The power goes out. I look at the guys, they're panicking. I'm going, get your acoustics. We go to the edge of the stage and we sit down and the power comes on and there's one mic in front of us and the four of us are playing acoustically, singing Beatles songs.
Wow.
And the audience is singing along. So and Scott, John, Eric, you remember that night. It was an incredible night.
Man, I can't thank you enough for your time today. It's a true pleasure having you on camera finally. We've been trying to get this done for a while, but I'm gonna ask you to play us out in just 1 second. But first, I want to tell everybody that if you want to know more about Ricky, where can they go?
I guess you can call me because I don't know what else to do. RickyVacher@gmail.com, or you can go on Google and type in R-I-C-K, like it says down here, RICKYVACCA. And just, I'm also on Gig Salad, which is a great place for bookings.
Yes, it is.
You can hire me there. And
there's some great YouTube stuff, by the way. Go check out
please.
some of the YouTube stuff. It's
I'm
really,
just
really
beginning,
good.
so if anybody has any ideas or assistance, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yep. And if you want to know more about anything you've seen here at Guitar Wishes, please let
must
us know.
come here.
Check out guitarwishes.com. Check out
Phenomenal.
our Facebook site, and please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody who's done so far. And be sure and smash that notification bell so you're informed of new content when it's uploaded. And for everybody here, I'd like to say thank you so much. Thank you. And then we're going to have you play us out.
Okay. Seen her face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just a girl for me, and I want all the world to see we met. Falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. Falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, America. Yeah.
Cruising for a bruising.